There's a tale as old as scripture, one of oppression, liberation, and faith. The Exodus of the Israelites from Egypt. The story of Moses, Pharaoh, and the parting of the Red Sea is legendary, etched into the bedrock of religious and cultural history. But buried within this sweeping narrative is a quieter story, a tale often overlooked. It's the story of two women, unsung heroes, whose courage sparked the first act of rebellion against Pharaoh's cruel reign. These women were Shiphrah and Puah, midwives of the Hebrew people. The time was grim. The Israelites, once welcomed guests in Egypt, now languished as slaves. Their population was growing, and Pharaoh grew paranoid. He saw their numbers not as a sign of vitality, but as a threat. Pharaoh issued a chilling decree to the Hebrew midwives. When you help the Hebrew women give birth, if it is a son, you shall kill him. If it is a daughter, she may live. Imagine the weight of such a command. These women, Shiphrah and Puah, were not warriors or political leaders. They were midwives. Their lives were dedicated to the act of bringing new life into the world. And yet they found themselves faced with an impossible choice: obey the most powerful man in the land or defy him and risk their own lives. But these women feared God more than Pharaoh. They refused. In secret, they saved the newborn boys, delivering them into the arms of their mothers, knowing full well the danger they courted with every cry of a healthy, living child. And when Pharaoh realized his grim order was being defied, he summoned them. "Why have you done this?" he demanded. "Why have you let the boys live?" Shiphrah and Puah stood before the most powerful ruler in the land, their lives hanging in the balance. But they were clever. They answered, "The Hebrew women are vigorous and give birth before the midwife arrives." It was a calculated risk to outwit the Pharaoh, one born of wisdom and courage. Pharaoh, either fooled or restrained by divine providence, did not punish them. The story of Shiphrah and Puah is brief within the narrative of Exodus, but its impact is profound. They chose life, they chose faith, and their quiet act of defiance set the stage for the survival of a generation that would begin the journey to freedom. They weren't generals or kings. They weren't given tablets of stone or charged with parting seas. But these midwives were heroes in their own right, lighting the first spark of hope in a dark time. A reminder that sometimes the greatest acts of courage come not from the mighty, but from those who dare to choose compassion in the face of fear.